Apparently there's a thing called an unlike bot. I had a huge spike in engagement and somewhere around dozens of dislikes on my videos. I don't think I'm super amazing or anything, but I also think that this is a little suspicious. I had a sympathy wave and got tons of likes and views, and I hope you stick around. Quick recap before things get started. Things are going kind of wild, but we're in place. We're getting there. Everything's fly by the seat of the pants. You just get it done as well as you can. I've got 18 photos here. I opted to go a little less than 20 just for logistics. I'm gonna go look because, yeah, we got this one right here and this one, and we had to get a little creative with hanging, but this is the gallery's first show, and I think this is a creative and engaging way to view them. Hopefully not out of reach for everyone. That's not the only concern about these higher ones, but maybe the extra work will be good. I like the experimental nature of a lot of these shows too. So this kind of stuff is adventures in presentation. It's a little walkthrough. It's not bad. If you ask me, I think it's pretty good. I just have this out on a tripod, so that should be interesting. And back to preparation. Come to sunny downtown Kilgore, which is totally cloudy right now, and check out my art at A&E Garden Gallery and Gifts. It's on the corner on the main drag. Yeah, it's at the corner of North and Kilgore Streets in downtown Kilgore, and I'm going to show you right here, right outside this window. You should go here, check out some photography and get some stuff. Have fun. And I've had a busy week. The opening at A&E Garden Gallery and Gifts was phenomenal and fun. I had a lot of friends and new people drop in and look at my work, and it was kind of a fun, different environment. It was a fun thing to do Saturday night. I heard there was another local art show in town, so it was kind of neat that you could actually go to a couple of art shows one night in little old Kilgore, Texas. And I have more exciting news about exhibitions, and that's coming up really soon, and it's got a really fun tie-in with this vlog. So I'm super excited for that. But in recap, I broadcast live for about 15 minutes, which was my first live broadcast. I finally made good on that. And it was a little different, but I think it worked out okay, and you can check it out on the card, which I should know by now. Right there, I think is a card right there. One of the most asked questions of the night was actually about how I find my models, which is funny because I've talked about that. I hope I'm pointing at the right corner for these. It's fun to get to talk about things and get all these strange or different perspectives to come in, and people you haven't met before, or who are seeing it and they don't know anything about your work, and some people who are very willing to talk or say things and not worry about it being inappropriate or offensive or anything like that, can come in and just say stuff, and you have to respond to it, and I find that very kind of exhilarating. But yeah, it's cool because you see these things together, you start drawing connections. People see connections too. They read your statement. I've gotten a great response to the statement, which I forgot to share on my live stream. There's a link to that in the bottom. It's on when you go to the home portfolio on my website, which we'll talk about in a second, the second slide on there is my statement. It's got me thinking about where I'm going next in this body of work, and for a little while I didn't think there was a next, but something keeps coming to mind and I'm going to roll with it. A lot of times bodies of work will lead from one thing to another. I remember Sally Mann talking about how her photography went from portraits to landscape at one point, because she would have these pictures of her family or people, and I think usually her family and their land, and the people in the pictures I remember her describing as the people kept getting smaller and smaller in the pictures and then they disappeared. But yeah, so work transitions like that. One of the hardest things to describe that I've heard other artists talking about is how to transition between bodies of work. But it also seems to be one of those things where you kind of instinctually find out that this is at an end or this is at a transition period, and you just kind of gotta feel it. And you hear a lot of people who just know that their important bodies of work are over one day. Then you have people like Kelly Connell, whose series just seems to go on and on, but she's doing other series too. She's been criticized, I've heard, for the longevity of her Double Life series, which is, in short, a series of self-portraits she takes of herself in a relationship with herself. It's really cool and I highly recommend it, and I'll go ahead and link her in the description too. So, but I think she's also pushing the boundaries of how long these bodies of work last, because the art economy seems to want us to make it as fast as possible, and I think the digital thing has pushed us into making work fast. Like the ability to print photo books, for example. People get the idea that they can just put out a photo book when they take 40 photos. And they don't understand when there's a photo book with 40 photos in it, there could be 4,000 photos over several years that were taken and weeded through and pushed into these books. And even if it's someone who might have a quick turnaround on a book, there were so many photos taken. So bookmaking is an art, and somebody who you could look into if you really want to appreciate the photography book was somebody who's pretty contemporary. I would look into Todd Hido. Todd Hido is awesome. So I'm at this crossroads, and I'm starting to go places I think are pretty interesting. I have a set of photos that are a transition already, and they're going to tell me, like, this is why it's so important to review photos for like exhibitions and stuff, or just print them out and just look at them all printed out and look at them all together. Even in web galleries it's helpful, because you start seeing connections and you react to those connections you see. You create new work and it usually goes with the other work, or maybe it's a whole new direction, and it's often a better direction. And there's a lot of response in photography and art making, and that's one, like I said, one of the great things about doing shows and exhibitions and stuff like that. And in other news, I have a few long-term projects I'm working on. I have my deep dive projects, I should say. I have my ongoing Ron Swanson emergence, where I'm making some shelves and tables, and there are a few logistical things to work through, and I have to mostly work on weekends just because I just don't have time to basically move a bunch of stuff during the week. And also I'm busy on weekends, but it's going to happen. I'm recording as I go. Here's a few clips. You're probably seeing a few clips. And so I'm going to do a whole thing about my home studio space renovation, which is why you have like empty bookcase stuff behind me. And it's going to be cool. It's going to help this channel, and it'll be pretty useful in an artistic sense, and a rumination on the studio space. And I have updated my website. I created a new splash page, basically, and I've been playing with an idea of having these atmospheric big pictures on my website, and it's never really grabbed me. And then I kind of stumbled onto this, and actually it happened when I was watching a Jared Pollan video. I'll put a link down there about him working with his Squarespace website. And so that kind of led me to tinker with my website, and I finally figured it out. And there's a shape I wish it could go. And I use Squarespace, by the way, and unlike a lot of people who do these website talks and stuff, I'm not sponsored by Squarespace, but I have used them for several years, and I do recommend them. And if they would like to sponsor me with my 330 something subscribers, I'm totally down. And now that I know how to do a live stream, we're going to do that film development live stream. I actually have some tanks to work with to show you how serious I am about this film development live stream. I got a second Patterson tank, so I could do color in black and white and stuff like that. This one's got 2 reels in it, unlike my other one, which only had 1. I don't know how that happened. I don't remember buying it. And I'll go ahead and unbox it on that, and we'll go through how to use these things. It's real easy. It's really fun. I am super excited to do that. I will give you a date for that very soon. Like I said, I've got some deep dive fun projects going on involving the studio, and then some other things I think you'll find neat. There'll be little self-photo assignments and possible new side series too. Also, I would like to note, I'm aware that my last vlog entry had some audio and sync issues. I'm not quite sure what happened. I'm learning DaVinci Resolve, actually, and I did something not right, and I didn't catch all of it, and it just didn't work, and I didn't have time to fix it, so I apologize. I hope it wasn't too hard to understand or follow, and I will be glad to try another walkthrough if you're interested in that, or maybe you've learned enough, or like I said, if you want to see something more expanded or whatever, please let me know. And thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I will see you on Thursday.